What's up everybody, welcome back to Zedroth Entertainment. Today we are going to do my personal review of the Panasonic FZ-300. Now there's a lot of reviews out for this camera already, so if you want to get like a really full in-depth review, just YouTube it, search it, you're going to find tons of reviews. That's basically what I did to find the reviews on this camera. This is more going to be what it's been like for me to have and for my personal uses and what I feel this camera would be best for someone out there that's looking to get a camera but doesn't really know if they should go DSLR or if they should go digital or the price range. So, and then this is basically going to be that. So first up, let's start with who I think this camera's for. Now, when I was looking for a camera, I had a certain price range in mind. I know that cameras can be pretty expensive, and I know there's a lot of people out there on a budget, as was I. So after I did months and months of extensive research, and basically what I found was if you want to go with DSLR, you're going to pay that premium price. Now, that being said, there are some cheaper. You can get the Rebel TI and the Canon Rebel for probably around $500. That's Canadian anyways. So you can probably get it for $399 American. I do more video. So obviously I have a YouTube channel. I use it for more video. Granted, I do use this camera for pictures, and it takes really good pictures, and we'll get into that with the B-roll footage. But for me, I wanted something that had a flip-out screen, which this does. I wanted something that had a decent zoom, which it does. I wanted something that has an external mic port, so I can get an external mic and have better sound quality, which this does, and I'm using it right now. And so I knew that from my personal choice, I wanted something that's going to be more for video, with the option to do some photo on the side. I'm not a professional photographer by any means. Yes, I like taking pictures. Yes, I'm an Instagram whore. I like to, put up an Instagram picture every couple days, every day sometimes. But I knew that for what I wanted, this was the best camera for that in the price range. With DSLR, you're going to get better picture quality for sure. But this isn't that far below DSLR as you think. If you're using, the $7,000, the $5,000, the $3,000 DSLR, of course it's going to be better, of course. But if you're using a mid-range DSLR up to probably about $1,000 DSLR, the picture quality isn't going to be that much different. So those are the two reasons for that. When it comes to video, I personally think that this does a better job because you have the options of just your standard 1080p. It also records in 4K. A lot of the DSLRs don't, unless you get into the more higher end, then of course, yeah, some of them do. But a lot of the standard basic DSLRs don't film in 4K. A lot of them didn't have an external mic port, and a lot of them didn't have the flip out screen. They just have like the back on the, just like it doesn't do anything. Some of the Sonys have a little bit of a flip up, but the flip up kind of just like it goes up. It doesn't really flip out, so I don't really know what that little angle does, but that's basically why I didn't go with Sony either. So I looked at Canon, I looked at Sony, I looked at Samsung, I looked at basically every camera manufacturer, and that's my biggest recommendation is do your research. And I found that this camera is the best all-around camera. Now this camera, if you just want the camera just by itself, I believe, as of this recording, I believe in Canada anyways, it was around the $500 mark, depending on where you get it from. I know on Amazon it was around $500 to $600 depending on the day or whatever was going on, but that's usually the price that it's going to be. I went with a film kit, so basically I got an external mic, I got a tripod, I got a mini tripod, I got lenses. Like filter lenses. This doesn't have changeable lenses. So that's another bonus with DSLR. If you want something that you can change the lenses out, then go with a DSLR because this just has one fixed lens with the zoom, and the zoom is really, really good. And but if you want something where you can like change out, this also has macro. You can do macro. But if you did want those interchangeable lenses, which I did not because it's just more stuff to carry around, then I'd recommend going with the DSLR if that's something that you're interested in. But anyways, I went with the film package. So yeah, I got the tripod, I got the external mic, I got basically a filmmaker's package. Everything that you need for a filmmaker to have at their disposal to film or take photos, whatever they want to do. So that was a little more expensive, I think, with taxes and everything. I ended up getting mine from the States. So I ordered mine from Amazon.com. because I have a mailbox in the States through work that I can go and get stuff from, so I don't have to pay for international shipping. But the reason why I went through the States is because Canada, for one, they're always more expensive, and two, they don't have as good of package deals, I find. There's way more options on Amazon.com. So even if you live in Canada, I'd still recommend checking out Amazon.com. Even with the conversion, you're still gonna probably get a better deal on some stuff. So that's where I got mine from. Now, if you're a young person out there and you're maybe wanting to get into YouTube, start your own channel, you know, maybe start doing some vlogging, whatever you're into, I don't know if I'd necessarily recommend this camera. This is a little bit more than what you need for something like that. Now, granted, I'm using it for YouTube, but I'm also using it for photography, and like I said, I have all my filmmaker package and stuff like that, and I make more like kind of like how do you want to say, more creative style videos where I actually try to make like a story, or I try to make like a little mini film out of it and stuff like that. So that's why I appreciate the benefits out of this camera. If you just want something to sit in front of and maybe just do like a makeup tutorial or do like a vlog or something like that, I would recommend getting something a little bit cheaper and something more compact. Now, this isn't a huge camera by any means, but it's definitely bulky. You definitely, most of the time, need two hands to operate it. And if you're just going to be walking around vlogging, or you're just with your friends in school or whatever, and you're just recording little stuff here and there, then go with something more of like a pocket style camera. I think that's probably going to be better for you, and you won't have to spend as much money. You can get those cameras for like $200, $150, $300 at the max, but even still, I'd say if that's all you want it for, I wouldn't spend over $200 for something like that if you just want to do some vlogging or like your basic style YouTube videos. What you want to invest in more, I'd say, is lighting. So even I don't have like professional lighting set up. If I pan out, it's like a bunch of lamps and stuff that are just hitting me. I don't have like the hanging balls or like an actual physical filmmaker's lighting setup. I just have whatever's in my house. So I'm even lacking on that. But if you wanted to get a cheaper style camera and for YouTube, just get good lighting. And if you're outdoors, you're gonna have natural lighting anyways. So, but if you want to do like a makeup tutorial, just use a cheaper camera and have a good lighting setup, and no one's gonna know the difference between what you're shooting, because certain video, like depending on where you're filming it or how good the lighting is, it's gonna look really, really good. So if someone's filming on a compact camera and then they see this footage, there might not be a whole lot of difference in camera quality. They're both are going to shoot 1080p, so I wouldn't worry about that kind of stuff. All right, now the technical, all the kind of mumbo jumbo stuff aside, let's get to some actual like pictures of what you can do with this camera. So this is a picture of my dog, probably a couple pictures of my dog. I'll put a couple on here just to kind of show you kind of like the focal options that you can do. You can do macro. I didn't really do too much macro. Maybe I'll take a picture of a macro just to kind of throw in when I'm editing this, just to kind of show you that you can do it. But again, there's tons of videos out there. Just type in FZ-300 macro and there'll be tons of videos to show you like how to do that and properly do it. So like I said, when you're using this for photography, it does a really, really good job. The ISO is adjustable. You know, your shutter, your white balance. You can adjust everything in this camera. It has a lot of stuff to learn and a lot of stuff that you can tweak. That being said, this might be another reason why you don't want to get this camera, because like a DSLR and this camera, they share similar attributes when it comes to learning the camera. There's a really steep learning curve with this camera, and it took me a long time to figure out what the best things to do to shoot were, and the best features to use and not use when filming, and also for photography. And it's really unfortunate because I got this right before I went on our trip to Italy, and pretty much like the first week of being there, maybe a couple days, I still didn't really feel comfortable using the camera, so I just keep it on auto, and that really burned me when I'm looking at my footage and stuff like that, when I'm editing if you've seen my channel, I have some videos and stuff of the trip that we did when we were there. And the early videos, you might not be able to notice it, but I notice it, and I'm like, oh, I really wish I would have been able to figure out the options better to film stuff and not just have to rely on auto. But I didn't know the camera that well. I was still learning, and I tried to learn stuff on the plane as we were heading there. But it was just there's a lot in the menu, and there's a lot of different options. So there's a lot of things that you can do with this camera. So it kind of burned me because I didn't have a lot of time to get used to before I was actually like filming like buildings from thousands of years ago and cool like stuff all through Rome and Italy. But that being said, if you have the patience and you have the will to learn a camera to fully take harness of its power, then by all means get this. But if you want something that's more kind of like a point and shoot, not too many options, maybe something more along the lines of like the options in your cell phone, where you can adjust ISO and just minimal things like that, then maybe get something else. So I'll just kind of cycle through a couple of these images. I know in particular there's the pictures that I'll put up of the skyline, the Vancouver skyline, and there's some night pictures. I'll make it this picture right here. That's a really cool picture that I took at night. Basically just on ISO 100, very, very, very slow shutter speed. Took the picture, and basically the shutter took, I'm going to say 20 seconds to like open and close, or close and open, and then another probably 30 seconds of processing the image in the camera itself to get this kind of effect. But if you have a tripod, then you're going to be laughing with the kind of pictures that you can produce with this. It's absolutely incredible. A tripod is necessary for these types of pictures too. You can't do it just holding it. You're even no matter how hard you try to stay still, your body is always going to be moving, or maybe there'll be a gust of wind, or maybe your dumb friend will come up behind you and grab you and scare you, or whatever the situation. So a tripod is definitely necessary in low light or nighttime shots if you want to get these type of pictures. So with all that being said, I've kind of gone on a little longer than I wanted to. Like I said, if you want like actual in-depth reviews from like photographer people that like have been doing this for 20 years, then just Google FZ-300 and YouTube review, and there'll be plenty of options. Again, that's what I did. But my final words to what I want to get across in this video is, if you're someone that wants an all-around good camera, someone that might not know a lot about cameras, definitely do your research. I've said it many times in this video, but I 100% recommend that. Don't just kind of take other people's word for it, even mine. Take what I say to heart and know that I'm telling you how things have worked for me and what I like about it, and then go out there and look for yourself and see if this something is really something that you want to buy. Because money's money, and a lot of people don't have it. A lot of people have little of it. And the people that have lots of it don't really give a crap. They don't watch these videos. They just go buy whatever they want, and then if it doesn't work, they're just whatever. So if you want something that's all around good for video, 1080p, 4K, you know, many in-camera filters for cool effects. If you want something for photography, but you don't want to spend that DSLR money, you want to do macro, you want you know, that manual focus, you want the digital zoom. The digital zoom is also a benefit of this camera too. You can just have normal zoom, and then you can activate digital zoom, and you'll get I forget how many more length of zoom, but there's the two options there. I usually keep the zoom off, because if you zoom in too much with digital, it's like your camera, you lose quality. But the other night there was a supermoon, and I used, supermoon. I used the digital on that because I found that even zooming in with the normal length of the lens, I couldn't quite capture the detail of the moon. And if you'll see in the video that I put up just before this one, the digital zoom actually did help capture the moon in all its glory. So that's just another benefit of this camera as well too. So that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're out there looking for another camera, I would highly recommend this camera if you're in the mid-level range. You're not looking for something quite low end, but you also don't have the money to go high end. This is an absolute perfect camera for someone like you. YouTube, photography, videos. It's also water resistant, so you don't have to worry about working in the elements if it's raining a little bit, like it does a lot in Vancouver. So that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this was beneficial to you. If it helped you out, hit that like button. Definitely check out my other videos to see what you think of the camera quality, and I'll see you guys in the next one.